Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Diverse Creative Podcast. This evening, I got to have a chat with Nic Olsen, who is from South African rock group Perez and who is the singer, songwriter, and musician behind Sonofold. Nic is on his way as we speak from Germany to South Africa, where he's here for a very brief little tour, and it's kicking off with Splashy Fen. Hope you enjoy this podcast. So Nic Olsen from Perez and Son of Old. Obviously, it's been, like you were saying to me just now, it's been a couple of years since you've been in SA, but this is home soil for you. So you must be very excited to be coming back.
Yeah, very, very excited. It's going to be a short visit, but it's going to be very busy, and there's going to be lots of music and laughs and hopefully some sunshine as well.
I hope so, especially at Splashy Fen. It's notorious for being a rainy festival, but this late in the year, we usually get some good weather.
Yeah, for sure.
So you're coming over and you have got a whole tour set up. I think you've got 4 shows booked. Am I right? One is Splashy Fen, that's the first one, and then you got one in Durbs and 2 in Cape Town.
Yeah, so yeah, playing at Splashy Fen on something which should be really good. I hope the sun's shining. At least be very cool to be at that festival again. I was there in 2018 with Perez, and then before that, I don't even remember. I think before that we might have been lining the festival. It must have been ages ago. And then Durban is just kind of it's actually at like an Italian restaurant where we set up a stage in the middle, and I'm going to play some songs there. I think that's on the 23rd of April. It's in the middle of the week. I think it's Wednesday, and yeah, that should also be kind of cool, bit of an intimate show. And then then I'll be doing a little thing at House of Machines with Son of Old, and Matt will probably be joining me on that one as well. And then Cafe Rue is on the 27th, which is also going to be that's kind of like an album release show for Cape Town. Although it's in Norfolk, but it's a Sunday and it's a public holiday the next day, so it's 6 o'clock the show, which is kind of cool to have that. And yeah, I'm going to have Perez as the band, which is going to be very cool.
I'm sure they're going to love that as well. So the album is Echoes from a Silent Hill.
Yes, that's what we're promoting. Yeah.
And I had a good listen to it actually. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, very, very cool album and a really nice mix of sound in there actually. And as a songwriter myself, I love the fact that it's got like some really good lyrics and a good body to the each song has got like depth to it. It's not just, it's not just pop. You're actually delving into something. So I really appreciate that. Like from a songwriting perspective, I know that you are quite the songwriter. That's something I'm going to chat to you about, but just wanted to give you compliments on this particular body of work. It's great.
Yeah, I'm very proud of it, and thank you. I'm glad you enjoy it. It's yeah, I put a lot into it, and I think it marked kind of a stage of growth for me. Kind of abandoning my adolescence in my 40s.
We all got to get there sometime, but
So yeah, but yeah, I'm super proud of it. Yeah, yeah, totally.
so I also realized that one of the big things about this album, and my friend Duzzy, who is usually the one who hosts this particular podcast, he was very excited to interview you a while ago, and it didn't actually happen. So he's quite excited that I get to ask you some of these questions. But you did collaborate with Rami from the Foo Fighters. How did that come about?
That came about because really because of Theo Kraus. He had met Rami, I think, for the first time when the Foo Fighters were touring South Africa, and they struck up a bit of a friendship. I think Rami and Dave Grohl and I say Dave Grohl because I don't know the guy. I'm not going to call him Dave. I've never met him, but anyway. And Theo went riding motorbikes together, I think, and they kind of struck up friendship. And Theo spent a lot of time with them and has subsequently visited Rami and I think in California. And yeah, has become a good friend. And Theo kind of hooked me up um, because we felt that his keyboard music and where the sound was going was just perfect for his vibes. So we got hold of him, and then it was really nice to get to go and see the Foo Fighters at Roskilde, and went to manage to meet Rami and put a face to everything, and now we kind of in touch, when little things come up, musical vibes, and I think that yeah, I really would like to work with him in the next record as well. He's just adds such a depth of what he does.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing when you hit a great collaboration like that, and it's something you can build on in the future. I think it definitely adds a touch of magic to team up with other musicians. I feel like collaboration is so key to growing as a musician and to evolving the sound because, you bounce off each other and suddenly you're both kind of more than you were before.
Yeah, it is weird, collabs. I think a lot of people see them because someone's going to, or, but it's nice when you kind of based on the music and trying to, and yeah, that was kind of the thing. And also as a solo, kind of a solo artist, even though that's the kind of a band sounding album, um, it can be very lonely on your own. I think art is about sharing, and that's been probably the hardest thing about being a solo artist, is that you're constantly second guessing yourself, and it's nice to have kind of reinforcement from people that you admire and look up to, or you know, um, that's really cool. So it was I think that cut closely together on this record, on like how it would sound and how to do it. And it was probably for me, one of the best recording experiences I had.
It's always an amazing thing when you get to walk away from a recording session and you feel like you've actually just knocked it up a notch. So yeah, it's really lovely to hear about that experience. And just going back to your songwriting, I can remember standing at Splashy. I think it must have been 2018. I can remember standing at Splashy with Roly, and him and I were just having a bit of a powwow before he got on stage. And he pointed you out in the crowd and he said to me, "Hey, hey, you check that dude over there. He's written a lot of the Polytones tracks, and a lot of their hit music is actually written by him." Because him and I often chat about, songwriting and original music, and how I'm a very passionate original musician, and Roly and I've had long chats about how hard it is to stick
Yeah.
to that in the music industry. So yeah, he was very, very excited to point you out in the crowd and say, "That's the guy that's written these epic, epic tracks," and you're just there wandering around, quite nonchalant. So tell me a little bit about the music you write for the Polytones or for other bands.
Yeah, I mean, the Polytones thing was not really tried to pursue a career writing for other people. Perez kind of split up a second time after the second album. Um, and I was in South Africa at the time, but based in Germany, and Khan approached me, and we had a quick meeting. He was like, "No, love you to join the band and come and join in so that we can actually spend time together and write together." And that was kind of how I got into it. Um, so yeah, it was cool. I mean, it was a good experience, and I was in the band, but I was not really, like, I wasn't needed instrumentally because they've got enough. They do their thing and they have their sound. So I was kind of just filling in sounds and you know, doing my thing, and it kind of just didn't work in the long run. I thought, no, I think it's not something for me. But I continued then with Khan to we'd have writing sessions. I mean, the most successful song I did for them, and it's kind of funny with music, you write music, and I've got a very clear memory of writing that song and and playing it with Khan in a writing session, and then that pushed me to the floor. We kind of fine-tuned it, but the verse, the chorus, and the bridge, everything was kind of there.
Mm.
Um, and we kind of look at it, and I mean, I don't like. I think sometimes. Um, Yeah, I mean, I think I come up with often kind of the hooks, I think, is kind of my strength. And Khan really helped shape it along with Theo as well, I imagine, because he was their producer into making them like hit material. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've done. I mean, I've written stuff, but nothing really successful. It's really just the Parlotones, and I was lucky enough to write for them at a time where they had already had a platinum selling record, and then the one that pushed me to the floor was on, sold even more copies, I think, than the one before that. And they were just
Yeah.
riding a big wave, and it was, you know, it was luck. A lot of this is luck, I think a lot of songs, great songs, are written that never get heard, um, and that's just how it is.
I tend to agree with you. I think there's a lot of amazing stuff out there that slips through the cracks because people don't know how to market it and promote it correctly. And that's a huge, huge aspect of music that most people, especially people just listening to music, don't understand how much goes on in the background. And I know a lot of bands don't understand how much goes on in the background, they don't really understand the kind of admin that especially an independent artist is doing if they are creating successful music in the world.
Yeah, I mean, most independent artists that are really having a success, they have to have some people helping them along the way just because of the sheer volume of stuff. I mean, the business, of course, has changed because of the way people market themselves. And I think the artists are carrying a much more of the load than what they used to carry. And it is sometimes, it's particularly when you get older and you're not as familiar with I mean, I'm familiar with technology. I'm not like that old, but I mean, kind of like it's not part of your culture, standing in front of a thing and talking in front of a microphone and promoting yourself like on a short, YouTube shorts or something like that, But some people kind of grow up with it and they're comfortable with it. Um,
The
and
rest of
yeah,
us
so
have
you
to
take
learn
it
it.
all on. For me, I think the rest of us have to learn it. But for me, kind of my focus with songwriting always is that's kind of that is the everything for me, and it's I put myself through like but the creative process is very um yeah, it's difficult in in sense that the music comes out easy, but to actually follow through with it and finish songs and record them and put them out, that in and of itself is a hell of a task, forget
Absolutely, yeah.
about promoting it properly. Just like that's just such a big thing, and it's such an emotional thing, and yeah, you do pay a price for it. You got to kind of, I think, in life. Yeah.
Yeah. They say good things don't come for free, right? So I suppose that's the price that's being paid is kind of like an emotional and energetic toll it takes on you, especially if you are a fairly active songwriter who has quite a large body of work that you're then trying to catalog and get through and group into albums. It is a very, very challenging thing to kind of pull these disparate ideas together and make a cohesive story out of them and make an album, which is quite something. I think a lot of people these days put out
Yeah.
singles and that's a lot easier to do, but it just doesn't have the like long standing kind of depth to it perhaps that an album does. And I personally like loved listening to the whole album that you put out from beginning to end. So I really like the fact that you've put together a whole body of work and haven't just put out like a little short 3-track EP.
Well, it's for people like you that the record is made, because the album is a dime. Like I had some radio interviews where like, so why do you still do albums? Like, does anyone care? And I say, I don't care if anyone fucking cares about it or not. I'm going to do it because
Yeah,
that's how it's done. Um, yeah, it shows depth, I think, Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
and I don't know, maybe I'll have the last laugh. Maybe I put out an album, this album, and it just takes longer to really take off because, you know, but but I think people look for more, and if there's more there, that kind of helps. I think it's whether you're in it for the long run, maybe, but I don't know. I've got no like of course I have dreams, but I know that dreams are not always it's not always in your hands. It's not like you got to be at peace with that.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
So you mentioned
Yeah.
earlier,
Because otherwise if you
Perez.
want to make sell sorry.
No, no, carry on, please.
No, I don't. Yeah, it's all good. I don't know where I was going. My mind is bouncing all over the place.
So you mentioned Perez breaking up and getting back together a few times, and I know from experience, keeping bands together is harder than keeping relationships going. So how has it been, especially with now Perez being a band that's been around for a long time? You guys have been friends for so many years, but you're now all over the world. You know, Adam's in Australia, you're in Germany, Mikey's sitting in the Midlands. Like, how is it for you guys to be able to put together a set for a festival like Splashy Fen?
Um, yeah, it comes pretty easy. I mean, we spend a lot of time playing together, and we know the music pretty good from even though it's been so long. Um, yeah, yeah. Perez was like some life lesson for everyone, because I think we all kind of have accepted that had we stayed together in the first time round, we could have really done some incredible things, and as a band, because it was a special energy. But on the other hand, we were also uh, I was a completely different person, and our egos and everything was in a different place, and yeah. So getting together is always very emotional, I think, in one way, because it's like, you know, it's like that what could have been thing. And that's the hardest part about playing with Perez again, always, is like, it was a special time, a special band. And it's not so much playing the songs, that's great. It's just the emotional thing of like, okay, we're gonna do this again, play again.
Together. Yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, yeah,
Now,
it's a weird one.
I messaged Adam earlier and I said to him, what would he say about this set at Splashy? And he said to me that he would like to call this set a celebration of music, love, and friendship.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. Yeah. He's a fucking hippie, eh?
As am I. So him and I do get on like fairly well. We're kind of on
I'm
same
joking.
soils.
No, 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 no. I know. I'm just taking the Mickey. I'm also, yeah. I'm not. Yeah. We always, yeah, have a go at each other. It's kind of how it is. But
Well,
yeah,
I'm
I
happy to join in
mean,
with the banter.
oh yeah, no, totally, easily done.
Oh my God, absolutely, absolutely. And I know like each of you guys all
Are
now
we
have
gonna
individual solo
be there?
stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone does their thing. So we kind of like Adam's been did a record with Mike and some other people, and
Yeah,
now it's
Silent
kind of
Generator.
quiet. But
Well, I mean,
yes,
it's
yeah,
funny you say that because
yeah,
I mean the band is called Silent Generator, so the fact that there's some quiet in the mix every
yeah,
now and again, I suppose, is appropriate. But I mean, it's really good stuff. Like I really thoroughly enjoy what they've put together as Silent Generator, and I've had the great luck of getting to listen to it kind of from its raw, unmastered form through to albums being released. So, you know, it is really nice to
yeah,
see them doing something different. And then of course you with Sons of Old is also like that's your own thing. Like you said, it's a solo thing, even though it sounds like there's like a whole band backing you up. But um it's really
yeah,
amazing to hear each of your flavors kind of coming through.
yeah, yeah. No, yeah, it's cool. I mean, that was kind of the nice thing about the band and Perez. It was the good thing about it, and also the difficult thing about it was that there was everyone putting a lot forward.
Mm.
Um, I mean, on the second record, because it was kind of rushed, I kind of like, yeah, I mean, it was weird. Yeah, I must have been, I think they will all agree I was kind of a difficult person to work with because I was a bit of a dictator, um, with the band and songwriting. Which I think I kind of like, yeah, I mean, I kind of, it was a lot to do with youth and confidence and I don't know what it was. I certainly don't have that anymore. And I must say, there's like some songs that like Matt wrote, for example, as well. A song, it was called Superman, and it was never recorded. And often on chats and stuff, people always ask, "Are you going to play that song? Have you got a recording of it?" Um, yeah, so there's a lot of great music and everyone in that band. They're all capable of doing cool things.
Absolutely. I mean, like I know occasionally Mike used to send me these random audio recordings of stuff he'd just come up with. and then I never hear it again. It's like it disappears into folders somewhere and just gets stashed. And I mean, this year I see like obviously Perez is performing as Splashy, you're performing as Sons of Old, Mark is DJing. So you guys are definitely very diverse, and each of you definitely has a lot musically to contribute to the world. So it's great that you guys haven't stopped, even though Perez is a separated entity over the world globally, but you guys as individuals have kind of continued adding in your music into the kind of musical pool that we all get to swim in.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. And it's cool now that we can always hear everyone's music a lot easier, even though people complain about the way it works financially, but financially it's always been shit.
Yeah,
But
pretty much.
yeah, so that's not really that's not for maybe for some people they've seen a decrease in paychecks or something, um, but some of us we just didn't get any paychecks at all.
That's
So,
exactly what I was going to say. I was going to say, dude, did you see a paycheck? I'm impressed.
oh, look, you made some money along the way. I mean, I don't want to infer that I didn't make anything, but it was still like it's not like that. That's not the thing. It's just nice that you can connect with people. It's just about making sure. And now I'm going to sound like a hippie, but making sure that the energy is correct because if used in the wrong way, it can be produce the worst possible outcomes. But the right way, it's great. You can still share ideas and music and art and yeah, so easy now. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. It really is an amazing thing. And I think that mentioning art, that is probably where an album lies. When you're an artist and you put together a bunch of paintings for an exhibition, it's a body of work. And that's kind of what an album is. And I think listening to some of the stuff you released previously and what you've released now with Echoes of Silent Hill, you can definitely hear the growth in the art that you're making. And I think that obviously it's life experience. One of the joys of getting older actually is that we get to grow and become less arrogant, maybe less cocky, and more diverse in our kind of perspectives, which is amazing. It's a wonderful thing to get to listen to a musician's work over a course of a lifetime and to see that growth, and I think connect with it, because obviously we're all growing with you in a sense.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, it is definitely, it's a journey. Everything is a journey. And I mean, I, it's kind of weird. I mean, I didn't put out music apart from doing stuff for the Polytones between 2011 and 2020. So it was 9 years. And I kind of had to do catch up with all the releases I've done. And I've kind of, and it's weird when you're actually actively doing something that the fact that you're doing it you makes you grow. If you don't do it, you don't grow. You get stuck.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the whole thing. You keep creating, and that's kind of my mantra when you're trying to chasing your tail in life, just trying to sort things out and pay the bills and do whatever you need to do, is to just always keep writing, and no matter what, even if it's just picking up a guitar. I mean, I don't know how many voice notes I have on my phone, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, and then I take time to go over it when there's some peace and quiet, and I don't actually have to, yeah, do a lot of other things. So that's the way to keep going, and I'm kind of excited at the moment, like more excited. I've become more excited the more I've done, and people might look at my basic streaming numbers, and there were some nice spikes when the album came out, but I'm not like reflecting big success, but I feel like I'm as an artist, I'm feeling really, really successful in the way, even though it's not, yeah, in creating, and that's kind of the cool thing. And then we'll see what happens from there in the future, if anything happens at all.
Well,
Yeah,
I think from experience, these things tend to continue to develop momentum. Like the first album I put out, it's taken like years for it to build up into something that people are now listening to. And I released it like in 2019. So um, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
there's time, things pick up momentum, and if it's had a good start, and if you continue to put into it and you continue to write and release stuff, your old stuff never dies. It's still there, people will delve into it, listen to it, and it just continues to grow and continues to grow a following, which is a huge thing. It's not an easy thing getting people to follow anyone, really. especially these days when
Yeah.
there's so many artists and so many musicians out there, and it's so easily flooded the market, I suppose. But I think that what you're doing has great value.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, I think that's what everyone should do, wants to create, man. Just write and play as much as you can. It's yeah. I played a gig last night in Munich and at a really quite a legendary venue. But it shows you how the world has changed. It has more like DJs now and music quiz nights, but it's kind of like a pub, a really cool pub. And I mean, I was just looking at all the bands that had played there, from Pearl Jam to Nirvana to Sonic Youth to it
That's
was like the
amazing.
place in the 90s. And it was like it was a small stage and a nice venue. I mean, and yeah, when we arrived there, it was an early gig because it was a Tuesday night, and there weren't a lot of people in the beginning, and then suddenly there was a reasonable crowd there. And then I played the set, and there was this one couple that kind of my eye, and then the one guy came up to me and said to me, you know, you did this, you did a like a live stream in 2020, and we think we were the only people that were on the live stream at the end, and yeah, and I was apparently blind drunk, and I think I might have even passed out during the live stream with the camera going. It was just that a bad time, and they found it kind of amusing. And one of them said, like, "Oh yeah, this." I could see that there was something there, but we couldn't really hear it. And they were like, "Oh no, but we came to the show and they really, really digged it." And I was like, and they bought an album, you know. And I was like, "How weird is that?" I mean,
I love it. I
I
love
was in
it so
South
much.
Africa, and such an odd, like weird connection. But anyway, yeah.
It just shows you that every
So
little thing you do actually counts, you know, even blind drunk videos have an impact on the world. Connect with
yeah,
someone.
although it must be still that they weren't convinced of any musical talent at what they
uh,
witnessed. But they were nevertheless intrigued because one of them had seen me before I'd moved to South Africa. So they were like, "Oh, I know this guy." And then yeah, anyway.
I love that story so much. So we've got less than 10 minutes left. So before we just continue randomly chatting about the good things, I want to just make sure people know where they can find you, where they can buy tickets for your tour here in SA, because it's literally like 4 days, right? It's very brief, like you said. Obviously, they can buy Splashy Fen tickets from Splashy Fen's website, but if they're looking to buy tickets for the rest of your shows, they can get them off your website. Am I correct?
Yes, it's sonofold.com. So Sonofold. .com, and or it's at the first page you go to. I only have the website for shows, so I always have them listed there, and there's all the ticket links if you're looking for tickets. Um, so yeah, everything is there on the website.
And I mean, in true South African fashion, there's a lot of people, especially here in KZN, who will make their minds up at the last minute that they are coming to the show. So, is there going to be tickets available at the door, or is that a thing that people should know in advance is not going to happen?
The Durban show is a pre-booking, and I think it's likely to be sold out pretty quick, I imagine. I don't think they'll have necessarily tickets at the door because it's kind of it's a different type of gig. You know,
Absolutely.
there's food involved and all that. It's not like in a club or something. So and it's more like a songwriter night, and Matt will be playing with me as well there, and we'll be doing some Perez stuff too. So that should be fun. So that's for Durban. Yeah, and then uh Cafe Roo is one where you can get tickets on Quicket, and I think they are limited. It's not a huge venue. Um, of course, we're hoping to sell it out. So yeah, if anyone wants to support us in Cape Town, that would be a very cool show to go to. I think they'll get a lot in that evening because it's basically myself or Son of Old, and then also Perez.
That's amazing. And so I really am glad we've spoken about that because I think people need to know that they got to be on it, you know, they need to book their tickets and make sure that they are kind of sorted and ready to go before the shows. Don't make your mind up last minute, KZN. Get your butts to Durban and go and listen and watch the show.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a really, really good one. And I have so thoroughly enjoyed this interview. Is there anything else you would like people to know about you or about Sonofold?
Um, yeah, I suppose if any of your listeners haven't heard the music, go and stream it. It's very cheap to stream. It's free, and you can discover the music there. And the more support I get, and I have quite a few listeners in Durban. Then I can come back and play and maybe play a more rock and roll type venue. No criticism to the venue I'm playing in. It's just a different type of show. It's like a sit
Yeah,
down dinner thing, and we've got a stage in the middle. So it suits my age more. But I do love playing clubs. It's always, yeah. It's
it's
just
fun
a
to be a
different
rock
spirit.
star, right?
Yeah, but also just this, the way you interact with people is very different, when you can. I mean, yesterday at the show, I was chatting to people that came to watch for a good few hours afterwards. It's probably why I've lost my voice a bit. Um, so yeah, I enjoy that. I enjoy meeting the people that come to watch shows. It's really cool to connect with people. So yeah, but yeah, there's those tickets. That it'll be a good show. That's it, and it's all on sonofold.com.
That's
And
amazing.
also, I must also say, of course, there's another show. It's just Perez. I mean, I might play a couple songs before, but that's at Alma Cafe. But that's literally 50 people, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's already sold out.
I'd
But
imagine
that
so,
is
yeah.
that. So yeah, uh, there might be one or two tickets floating around, but I don't think so. Yeah,
Well, Nick, thank you so, so, so much for this interview. We have literally got two
yeah,
minutes left. So I just want to make sure that um, everyone knows social media stuff that you're on. You're on all the regular social media, Facebook, Instagram, that jazz. Are
yeah.
you
And
there to?
it's all Son of Old. So at Son of Old, and you find it immediately. No one used that as one. It's typed as one word. So Sonofold. And then you can find all the socials and everything like that.
That's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. That's great. Thank you so much for doing this interview with me. And I will be seeing you at Splashy Fen. So I hope to catch a bit of a video interview with you then. And
Yes, that would be
just to
cool.
find out how you've actually found the festival to be.
Yes, I will be there. I'll be there for 2 days. So yeah, definitely. I look forward to it.
There goes all my canines. Just add an element of farm friendliness to this interview. Um, Nick, thank you so much. I'm gonna love you and leave you and let you get on with your evening. And I will see you at
Yeah,
Splashy Fen.
cool. Thank you so much for the interview. All
Such a
right,
pleasure. Till next
cool.
time. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for this evening's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. This podcast was proudly brought to you by Dawn Melanie and the Diverse Creative, and it was sponsored by Storyline Recording and Productions. For all your production and recording needs, find them on social media. I hope you enjoy this podcast. It is certainly... No, it's certainly nothing. It's nothing at all. Take 27. Way to South Africa as we speak for a very short little tour, starting with Splashy Fen. Oh, goodness me. Freaking rock group Perez, and who's the musician, singer-songwriter behind Son of Old. No, again, job with him before this. Good evening again, and also the singer-songwriter and start again. Let's say the band. In a minute. Again. Welcome everyone to episode 2 of The Diverse Creative. And today I got to interview Nic Olsen, who's from South African rock group Perez and is the genius and singer-songwriter musician behind Son of Old. Start again.